Folks, raise your hand nice and high if you trust the government. Ooh. Oh, 2 people? That makes 3 today. Oh. Raise your hand nice and high if you trust the government. Come on. Come on. Oh, that makes 4. That makes 5 people out of about 400 today. Good for you guys. You guys are standalone people. At least you think for yourselves, I'll tell you. Raise your hands nice and high if you trust the government. You'll be number 6. Can you believe it? 5 other people actually raised their hands. I'm shocked. All right, raise your hand nice and high if you trust the government, folks. You could be number 6. You could be the 6th person today who has said they trusted the government. 6 out of about 500. All right, I have a brain teaser if anybody wants to attempt to solve this one. You're in a plane traveling 500 miles an hour. The earth beneath you is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, supposedly. Are you making ground or losing ground, and why? You want a card, sir?
Not really. Okay. We're trying to figure out all the connections.
Yeah, you know, there's
anything the government says is wrong.
Do you trust the government?
Do you trust the government?
I absolutely. Hell,
do you trust
100% no. No.
You're using the camera.
Right.
Okay.
My trust in whether a corporation. By the way, when you say when I trust a corporation, do I trust it as pertaining to what?
What about trusting the government? What do you mean?
Well, it's pertaining to what the government takes my money and funds activities. Have you ever heard of Operation Northwoods? Have you ever heard of Operation Mockingbird?
Sure.
You have. Okay.
Northwoods was the one where was that the one where they were going to invade? Yes.
Yeah.
And Mockingbird was
I believe it's the.
So you believe it?
Well, I don't want to mistakenly say it's the wrong operation,
okay.
but I believe it's the CIA. It was CIA operation where there
infiltrate newsrooms.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yeah. Good
but
stuff.
You believe it? Hey.
Well, I kind of have to, don't I? I can't prove that stuff.
You can't prove it.
It could literally be a psyop of a psyop.
Okay.
It could be.
So basically, it just comes down. You're choosing to believe one over the other.
Well, the fact is that, all right, let me ask you this.
Okay.
You remember the World Trade Center whole event that happened? I was in Jersey City across from the trade centers when they came down at free fall speed. Do you know that 3 buildings fell that day? I'm sure you do, because it sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable.
The same science that created free fall speed be the one that we needed to talk about the Earth?
I'm confused.
Exactly. But physics.
Oh, no, not necessarily. Well, yes and no. Okay. Because does physics involve seeing things farther than what you should see them? Because we can see. Here's some information. Do you want it here?
No, that's okay.
All right. Well, YouTube censors this.
But you don't believe physics.
I didn't say I don't believe physics. What I'm finding is that.
So if the government uses physics, you don't believe it. But if somebody else uses physics, you accept it.
No, not at all.
Okay,
not at all.
So is physics?
No, I look at evidence, I weigh the evidence, and I make a determination as to whether the evidence is valid or not. Okay. And that's the best you can do in this world.
Okay.
How did you get into thinking that the world is flat?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I had, I came to see some other lies in this world that, that were, I guess, easier to digest than flat Earth. Because the very first words I used when I heard that, people were claiming that the Earth was flat was, what kind of idiot? And this is me being kind of open-minded in my mind. I said, what kind of idiot would say the Earth is flat? That is exactly what I said. After hearing it a few times, I was like so perplexed as to what could possibly be causing people to overcome an enormous amount of what I thought of at the time as proof that we lived on a spinning ball.
I guess the question is Earth's flat, so it's a disc.
All right, let me just hear. I don't like asking questions because honestly, I cannot explain everything about a flat Earth. I couldn't tell you everything.
But I need to understand.
Well, I'm going to give you some.
Or is it square?
Well, let me give you what things have caused me here. Some first, starting with YouTube censors, which I find extremely strange. But over the last 2.5 years, pretty much every flat Earth video that ever helped me become to detach from thinking I live on a ball, all of them have been buried and censored by YouTube. That to me is strange in and of itself, even if I didn't believe that the Earth was flat, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Excuse me? From a bunch of researchers who have researched flat Earth.
So what makes you believe that? Like what about the?
Okay. All right. So here, let's here's a few things. that I think that really changed that blew me away. Here's a photo. This was a photo, a famous photo. It was on the news by a guy named Joshua Nowicki, and it's from over 50 miles across the shore of Lake Michigan to Chicago skyline. And as you can clearly see, right? You can see the Chicago skyline, right? All right. Well, according to spherical geometry, 8 inches per mile squared is what determines the curvature of the Earth, 24,000 miles in circumference. Okay. According to that model, we should have 1,700 feet of expected Earth curvature hiding that skyline. With this building here, this is formerly the Sears Tower. It's not even I think it's 1,700 feet tall in total, but I think that it even includes its antenna, which is like 200 feet or something crazy, right? So not only that, but these are 300, 400, 500 foot buildings. Wait a second, I said, how the heck are you seeing 300 and 400 and 500 foot buildings? And numerous people who live in the area claim that, yeah, you can see the skyline from across Lake Michigan. It's not unusual. Shouldn't happen. You can't see over the bend of a ball. That makes sense to you, right? You can't.
Can you not there's evidence on the fact that if you take a ship, if you have a ship and then
yeah, and it goes over the horizon, right? Yeah, well, there's another one. So there's people who started using their super zoom cameras or telescopes, right? And you can look out on the ocean, you won't see anything. The ship, quote, sailed over the horizon, right? The only problem is you grab a zoom camera and you can zoom back in up to a certain point. At a certain point, the atmosphere gets so crazy, you know, because there is water in our atmosphere. Because a lot of people say to me, they say, well, why can't I see Europe from across the ocean then, right? Well, A, you have a perspective problem because we can't see infinitely. Things go down to a certain point and you cannot see further than that distance. But B, there's water in our atmosphere. Have you ever driven on a foggy night? That's water, right? It's the same. It's always in our atmosphere. So over a distance of.
But this particular ship model was seen on a clear day.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'm not. What I'm saying though is that you can have a good day, guys. Please look into it. How you doing?
Hi, I'm with him.
Oh. So there's a great saying. Listen, by the way. Let me start with this. Do you trust the government?
Well, I wasn't born here, so I don't really care.
Well, any government. Do you trust any of them? I don't trust any of them.
Well, if I mean, there are always bad things and good things. But,
Okay. So we can agree, generally speaking, government lies.
No, this is no government sometimes lies, sometimes tells the truth.
Right, but if you're wait, let me ask you this: if you know a liar, do you trust what that liar is telling you ever? You can't.
That's a personal statement, right?
Well, I mean, for me, when I know somebody is like, that's probably a bad example too, because we all lie at some level, right?
Yeah. Sometimes some information is not supposed to be told, right?
Okay.
I mean, just you saying that withholding information is the same as lying?
I'm sorry?
Withholding information is the same as lying because it's not.
All right, no. All I'm trying to get at is that if you can start at the baseline of, is it possible that the government is lying to us about something, right? And if you agree that the government does lie, then we have overcome an obstacle that if you don't think the government lies, then there's no conversation to be had between the two of us. Because everything I say is going contradictory to what the government has told.
Sure,
everything.
what do they gain from it?
Well, oh yeah, of course everybody asks what do you gain from it. You have a population, right, who, by the flat earth you mean? What do they gain by the earth being flat? Do you believe in God or no? Do you believe in it? You don't. Okay. Well, if you have a Big Bang, right? If you believe in the Big Bang, I believe that's contradictory to most religions, the Bible, Christianity. It doesn't support. There's nothing in it that talks about a Big Bang.
But
so
then
if you
have to believe that the Bible is true.
Right. But you just asked me what is what you do is if you can take away, you can basically gain control of people's mind. If you're going to mind control them to the point where they believe that they live on a spinning ball, right? Then you can pretty much get them to believe anything. And I believe that is what's taking place. I mean, look right here. Everybody will ignore this statement, but this is written. This is a Red Cross paper that the Red Cross visited Auschwitz. They visited on a monthly basis, and they had no evidence of any gas chambers ever in any of their visits.
Hitler does not exist. You know, Hitler does not exist.
Excuse me?
Hitler does not exist.
Hitler does not exist?
No, of course not.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, this is saying no gas chamber over there.
No gas chambers
I saw the gas chambers.
Well, of course you saw gas chambers, but like if you look in, have you ever investigated to the contrary of that belief?
why would I investigate that in the sense that there's a whole building? Why would they lie? Why would they lie?
Do you see where you jump to? You're jumping to protecting your current belief.
I understand.
And so rather than being argumentative with me, I can tell you, you can go to Holocaust deprogramming course, you can read about it, and you can come up
But
and you
how
can
do you
come back and
believe
you can
them?
tell me.
But how do you believe them?
But wait, because what they do is look, this is what a Red Cross supposedly, and this is, you're right, I have to believe that this is true, but supposedly the organization.
You're seeing it used to yourself?
Follow me, before you, because, listen, the point is.
We also have to go, so.
Yeah, but the point is that, all right, did I tell you about, there's this great saying, and I think this explains it all. Condemnation before investigation will leave a man in everlasting ignorance.
But who's being condemned here? Jews? Or
No, the evidence. The evidence is being condemned. And so what will happen is I'll tell you about the Holocaust and that I believe that the gas chambers are a lie, right? And you can't even say that in public without being ostracized. But I'll say it because I don't care, right? That's what you have to do. You can't care what others think about you when you want to examine something,
Fair,
right?
sure.
Okay, so now if you would go to a Holocaust deprogramming course, I'll give you a card and you can come back and tell me in a week after you investigated why I am wrong. But you
I think
won't.
you gave me already.
Okay, but anyway, I'm Zoom Truth on YouTube, right? And I'm 100% serious. If you did it would take you 2 hours. Rather than watching television one night, you go to the Holocaust deprogramming course, you look at the evidence on there, and you say, and you're a smart guy. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of intelligent people around here. But if you've been brain controlled and you refuse to look at evidence that contradicts what you currently believe, you will be left being me till age 46. And I was a freaking complete moron who only believed what he was told. And I don't want other people to make that same mistake.
Well, it's great talking to you.
All right, brother, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it a lot. I really do. So, I don't know if you heard me, sir, but that's pretty much where I'm coming from, right? So, there's a great saying, folks. It's principle that says condemnation before investigation will leave a man in everlasting ignorance. I come out here with a lot of information that, people think that I guess I do it in a negative fashion. But the fact is if I have evidence for something and if they refuse to examine it and they want to ad hominem attack me, that's their choice. Oh, I got so triggered. Oh, I'm horrible. I'm so bad. All right, you ready? Check this out. I have a brain teaser. Brain teaser. Can you hear me? They say Earth. Well, just listen for a brain teaser for 30 seconds. All right, you will. All right, you ready? Check this out, man. They tell us, you know how fast they say Earth spins at the equator? 1,000 miles an hour. They tell us that Earth spins at the equator. Okay.
Right, okay.
You know how fast commercial airplanes travel? Approximately 500 miles an hour.
Right,
Okay, just
okay.
give me it. You get in an airplane, you travel along the equator in the same direction of Earth's spin. You're in an airplane, going 500 miles an hour. Beneath you, the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
Right, but see, the Earth and the atmosphere, they're going at the same speed.
The Earth and the atmosphere, right? They're attached. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've been told. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is why the plane does go forward and not backward.
Now let me ask you: if the atmosphere is moving, that means the atmosphere. If the ball is moving like this, right? The atmosphere is moving in that direction at 1,000 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you were to go in the opposite direction, is the atmosphere then moving at 1,000 miles an hour against you or not? Or you're still in it? You're still in the moving atmosphere. Okay, I'm with you. All right, now here's the problem that I would have with that. Is it's never been proven. It's never been proven. I've looked up research by even by I think it was Harvard or Yale. I forget which one it was, and they say it's fraught. I forget the word they use exactly, but it was fraught with assumptions. Fraught with assumptions. You have to believe that that's the case. And you have to believe it because otherwise the whole model falls apart, right? So, in addition to that, let me ask you this one, because you're too smart for me on that one. You're good. That was good. That was good. I like that. You're good at that's what I want. All right. Do you trust the government, first off? Yes or no, man?
I don't know, I guess so, maybe.
Holy shit, man. Don't even talk to me, man. Get away from me. No, okay. All right. You don't trust them. I know you don't really trust them. Tell me you don't trust them. You know that. Do they lie? Does the government lie?
I can't be certain, right?
Does the government lie?
I don't know. I can't be certain. That's the thing, right?
All right, no problem. We'll skip that one.
Yeah.
All right, you ready? We know, or they tell us that Earth, that the space is a vacuum.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And that Earth has a pressure system. Is that correct? Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Now, no man has ever created a vacuum that can contain a pressure system within the vacuum with no physical barrier between the two. It's never been done. So you have to accept and say that you believe it, because it's never been, right? Science is supposed to be repeatable, right?
Yeah.
Testable and repeatable. Where's the test for that?
So wait.
I'm just asking you first, where's the test for that? Because otherwise you have to tell me that you believe it, right?
Okay. So what you're trying to say is that humans have not been able to recreate the experiment where you have a vacuum, and in that vacuum you have something that has an atmosphere.
You'd have a vacuum, and then you'd want to create a pressure system within that vacuum with no physical barrier between the two.
Right.
Exactly.
So like in the case of Earth,
Yeah.
since it's such a huge body, and because of gravity, because of gravity,
Right. Gravity is the answer to almost all the problems, right? Now let me ask you.
But when you go to a small scale, since gravity is so weak, like
I don't believe in gravity. Real quick, because the reason why I don't, that's not gravity. That's just a phenomenon that takes place, isn't it? When it comes to what gravity is, right? You and I both know that physicists say we don't know what gravity is. They don't know. They don't know what gravity is.
Sure.
Okay, I'm glad you.
But I mean, sure.
I love you, man. You're good. You're good.
If you look
You're
at
running with me on this.
yeah, if you look at like string theory, M theory, and there are no particles for gravity.
All right, don't get me lost in that crazy shit, okay, man. It's too far out. All right, let's keep it real simple. All right, the next, so there's a great saying, man. It says condemnation. The saying is, there's a principle which will leave a man in everlasting ignorance, and that principle is condemnation before investigation. Now, what's the condemnation of what? The condemnation of evidence. Before you investigate evidence contrary to what your current belief system holds, right? If you make a determination that you know better, that you've already decided what is what, you're stuck being a freaking fool like I was until age 46, and I hated it. So listen, let's go something even crazier, because you know physics, I think, really well.
A little bit.
All right, is there anything that struck you as suspicious on 9/11? Did you know that 3 buildings fell on 9/11 at near free fall speed? Did you know 3 skyscrapers? Not 2, 3.
3? Okay.
Yeah. Did you know about the 3rd one?
No, I did not.
Yeah. They don't tell you about the 3rd one on the news very much. You know why? Because no freaking plane hit it. Right? Why did it fall?
Okay.
Why did it fall straight down? 47 stories high. That's a tall building, right?
Yeah, right.
You agree with me? 47 stories.
Yeah.
Guess how long it took to fall? I think it was 7 or 8 seconds. Free fall speed is 6 seconds. You tell me, how the hell does a steel structure building that's never before in history, none had ever before in history fallen straight down, none had ever fallen, right, in all of history from fire, and yet on 9/11, not 1, but 3 buildings fell straight down. Do you know how long it took the 110-story skyscraper to fall?
I don't know.
11.2 seconds, I think. Free fall speed is something like 10. You're telling me? Yeah. See, you know. In order for when you have, because there's plenty of physicists who have already investigated this, and you're using energy to push, to crunch down, right? As you're going down, it's using energy. You're losing energy so it's not just going to and gain speed. It's going to be dissipating, and eventually it's going to lose its momentum. It's a steel structure building.
You mean when it's falling, it's gonna lose the energy because of the air resistance?
Excuse me?
You're saying?
No, not just the air resistance. How about the resistance of 36, I think, or 42 steel columns that were 36 inches around? Steel columns that just happened to fall and cave in on themselves at free fall speed, bro. Do you believe that? Do you buy that? Or is it something that maybe you want to investigate?
Yeah, it's something I
There's 3,000 architects and engineers. If you look up architects and engineers, you can 9/11. You'll find that there's over 3,000 of them who have signed their names, saying that what happened on that day is physically impossible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my point being is that what I'm getting at is that those buildings were taken down, and if they were taken down and it wasn't the planes, you don't take down a building and load it with dynamite and get it right and bring it down in an hour. It takes probably for a building that size multiple weeks, if not months. Now that takes some serious planning. Now, so the point being is you start to lose faith in, quote, that government because that's an operation that I have a hard time believing a corporation is going to get away with. There's a ton of foreshadowing of 9/11 in movies and in magazines, but that is beyond the conversation today.
So I probably have to look into that. I have no
I really hope you do, and if you have time, go. Zoom Truth is my my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
I was censored and shut down for a couple months, but I just got it back up. It's 2 words, Zoom and then Truth. Okay. But my point being is, if you look into this stuff and you think you solved it where you have a better reason, an explanation as to what happened and you understand it, and you want to help me unravel my own confusion,
I'll put it in the comments.
I would be interested in hearing it.
Yeah, sure.
More than likely, though, I think if you do it honestly, you're going to have more questions than answers.
Right.
Do you know that they found? Did you know that they found one of the supposed terrorists on the airplane that crashed into one of the World Trade Centers? Do you know that they found his passport in the rubble? They actually supposedly found his passport. Okay. The day it happened, I think it was. The day it happened.
Oh.
Do you know that 6 or 8 of the supposed terrorists are alive? Have you ever heard? Yeah. There's a great documentary. You should. It's a good starter one. I don't believe it's truly. It has all the answers, but it's a good start. It's called Loose Change. I would highly recommend spending an hour and a half. It's fun, and you can. I mean, honestly, it's just like a rabbit hole that you could. And being that you're a physics guy, you'll be able to really either say something's wrong with that. I think very easily, or if you can get past your own indoctrination.
Oh, okay. I'll look into it.
I hope you do, bro. I'm Dave.
Sorry, Dave?
I'm David, yeah.
Oh, okay, Vihan.
Vihan?
Vihan. Yeah, nice
to meet you, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so another comment I have about the flat earth thing is so like, let's say if you look at some ocean, right?
Yeah.
And if the earth is flat, I mean, you believe that it's supposed to be on one level, right?
It's a plane.
Yeah, it's a plane.
It might be an infinite plane even.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure. But now if you go along that plane, right? And this is an experiment. So if you keep going along that plane, you somehow keep going lower and lower. Like let's just say this is the starting point,
right?
And this is the water here,
right?
And let's say you shine a laser from here, so that's gonna go straight.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So now then you just you go like, I don't know, 1 kilometer in the water. Like, you keep going further and further, and then let's say you have a huge board with you, a huge plank, where you see where the laser light is shining. So if the
we've done that. We've done that. We can, dude. This is what I'm saying, bro. You're ready, man. I think you are, because I don't think you're gonna like what you find. You're not, because you never really checked into this shit. But there's people we're seeing too far. There's one guy, Daryl Marble. He took a laser beam. He went to over a distance of 7 miles. You should have something like 40 feet, I think, of expected Earth curvature.
Yeah, sure.
Right? Okay. Over 7 miles.
It should be quite a
bit.
Dude,
he had his laser beam. It said it's 6 or 7 feet. I think it was 7 feet. He put his his camera literally in the water. Like, you can see the water bloop, bloop, right up on his camera. What do you see? Clear as day, shining right directly. Dude, I'm not making this shit up. What do you think? Why do you think I'm standing out here like a lunatic, man? Why do you think? Wait, let me ask you. Why did you think that I would ever want to confront an intelligent person like yourself? Who the reason I'm out here, there's so many people who won't give me the moment to listen, right? To investigate.
Sure.
But if I find a guy like you who's not only intelligent, but maybe we'll actually look into something so stupid as this is stupid, right? It's dumb. I know it's dumb, but you're entertaining. You're being nice to me probably because you don't believe a word I say, and I don't want you to believe a word I say.
I mean, no, it's not that. It's more like, I mean, if there is something that you believe in, which could probably be true, I should probably investigate.
Well, but we have, like, yes, in a way, yes, but in another way, if I told you that what could I use as an example? That that the Easter Bunny really did create the Earth, and you know what I mean. So, at a certain point, I guess we have to keep, if you open your mind up so much that your brain falls out, Like, you know, you have to have a limit, I guess. But and for me, the limit really is almost like the Earth being flat is like so stupid that it's almost beyond that point to me.
Right.
That's how crazy it was. Dude, let me just do 2 more seconds, man, please. So, all right, just some common sense stuff. Like, I did this experiment at home myself. I have not done a lot of experiments myself, but I really wanted to. But you know how when you go to the beach, and as the sun is going down, you can have the sun rays travel all the way to the edge of the sand, right? Now, if
As in, like...
the sun rays, like, you see how the sun rays are on this?
Yeah,
and they go all the way up, right?
Right.
Now, that can happen even when the sun is, like, literally right before it's going down, like, you'll see the rays. Now, if the Earth is a ball, remember, you have curvature, and on that curvature, the sunlight can't bend around the curvature.
Oh yeah, but
I know that there is refraction. I know
Yes.
I'm well aware of refraction.
Yeah.
So the problem is you know, everything is an answer for refraction in a way if it contradicts the ball Earth model. This is taken from 50 miles across Lake Michigan, right? This is 50 miles across. According to spherical geometry, you should have 1,700 feet of expected curvature. Okay. That entire skyline, you should be hidden. The guy on the news, this made the news because they're like, what you are seeing, the guy says, is a mirage. He called it a mirage, right? The problem is that people see that mirage freaking all the time, you know, many different weather conditions. In addition to that, a guy got in a boat. He videotaped that mirage as he crossed so the entire time the mirage is in his camera, and then they're buildings. So did they switch at some point from a mirage to buildings?
Right. I don't know about this. I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, there's that. I learned a lot about perspective. Like, you know, we know that we know that these railroads, they're parallel. They're not going together.
Yes.
So it's an illusion, right?
Yeah.
I would say, you know, there's a good. This is kind of interesting. It shows you that elevation is what, you know, is needed for you know, like water. The key for me was water. Like that, you know, if that was a pipe 2 miles long, right? That bottle there, right? And with water in it. 2 miles long, so you do 2 times 2 is 4 times 8 inches is 32 inches. So in just the distance, imagine that pipe was 2 miles long. There should be 32 inches of expected curvature. So that resting water in that pipe, right, would have a bulge in the middle of about 16 inches, I guess. Maybe it's not even less of that too. I think it's not quite that much. But dude, when you think of it in those terms, we're not finding it, by the way, with laser. People have done laser beams. They've done it with a mirror across like 20 miles, 15 miles, whatever. Salton Lake sea test. So people are doing these things. You know that YouTube has hidden all of these videos. 2.5 years ago, when I started looking into this, bro. 2.5 years ago, I looked into this. I could find video after video that it took so much for me to be like this, because every time I watched the video, I'd be like, nah, man, that's impossible. You know what I mean? There's a reason. They're tricking me. These people they're out to get you. You know what I mean? I was clinging to the ball, man. I was like, there's no way, right? Now, if you look into flat Earth, bro, all it is shit that makes fun of flat Earth. So they ad hominem attack. They say that people like me, they're psychologically, there's a problem with a person like this who believes in flat Earth, right? Because they don't have any friends, they're lonely, they need validation in their life, blah, 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 blah. Anything but directing. How about you just address the evidence, right? But they don't address the evidence. They start poking the finger at the people who are actually doing the investigation. Dude, check into it, please, everybody. I got more cards there. This guy, you know, he's speaking with me. He's being kind enough to give me a little bit of his time. I think he's you're a physics guy, right?
Computer scientist, actually.
Oh, computer scientist.
Thank you.
Still, that sounds pretty smart to me. But you know, we were discussing 9/11. Have you guys ever looked into 9/11? Did you know that 3 buildings fell that day?
Yeah.
You did. Do you find that a little strange that only 2 airplanes hit and there were 3 buildings that fell down, or no?
I mean, Rick from Rick and Morty said it was an inside job, so I trust him.
Yeah, do you, Rick? And is that a cartoon?
Yeah.
But they tell the truth on it, you think?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I mean, The Simpsons predicted it would happen.
Yeah, you saw that, and on 9/11, it was on the it was on one of the cartoons of 9/11. It showed on a book, right, a comic book. Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff in this world, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff, man. So anyway, yeah, look into it stuff. Don't be 46 years old by the time you start not, start figuring things out. That's all.
Is the camera on?
Yeah.
Kanye 2020.
Anyway, I don't want to hold you up all day.
That's cool.
You have the reason why I hand this out again is because you can't find a lot of the information on YouTube if you do decide to investigate it. Go, flatearth101.com is good. There's another one called Stop, Look, Think that has good information. And then there's dude, if you really want to blow your mind, I mean, you know about the Holocaust, right? That's what that was the first thing that I kind of started. World Trade Center, I was like, something's going on with World Trade Center. But the Holocaust, I came to the conclusion that the gas chambers were a lie after doing an investigation on it, right? Dude, I lost my mind. I was telling my friends, this is the craziest, pretty soon no one wanted to talk to me because then, oh my gosh, the Holocaust is, right? All you gotta do is go to the Holocaust deprogrammingcourse.com, read into it, and then you make up, you could say, no, I don't believe this, but when you start doing the math, dude, it's simple freaking math. It's so simple, bro. And it's some common sense too. I know it sounds crazy, right?
Because there are a lot of people, like last year
Testimony.
I went to Germany.
Yeah.
And exactly.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who...
People lie though, right?
Sure.
People freaking lie, man. Dude, that was why it took me a long, you watch it and you're like, first instinct is no way. But then, do you know how many they call them muffles? You know what a muffle is? A muffle is where you would burn up the body, where you would cremate the body, right? At maximum, they all had 46 muffles working at Auschwitz, at the very maximum. But they never all ran at the same time anyway because you had to do maintenance on some, right? So supposedly they're using them a lot. Well, they didn't even have them until the last year. It takes 1 hour, using today's technology, at best, to cremate a body, okay? 1 hour. I see what happens. Do the math now. 1 hour. Let's say, and they could only really run 12-hour shifts, but let's say it's running 24 hours a day, right? 24 times 40. Let's use 40, just for simple math. 25 times 40 is 1,000, right? That's 1,000 people a day. How long is it going to take you to freaking cremate 1 million people, bro?
Yeah.
3 years. 3 freaking years to get 1 million people cremated. You're going to be working around the clock, right? They didn't even have 46 muffles in place. They had a total of 46 in the last 6 to 9 months of the war, and only for 6 to 9 months. Prior to that, they had 13 or 15 or 20. Dude, in order to make the math work, you know what the solution is? This is what they tell you. Now they'll use common sense. In order to make the math work, they stuff 5, 6, 7 people into a muffle, and that's how they do it. The problem is if you go to a crematorium and you tell them what they say, they'll say, well, as you put another body in, you lose efficiency because you need oxygen in that chamber, right? Starting to make. I make a little bit of sense, don't I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but
bro.
I don't know the facts of that as well.
Yeah, no, I know that. I know. I'm not asking. I don't want you to believe a thing. Just
Sure.
But
I'll
if you,
look into it.
I beg you to, because a smart guy like you might have influence over a lot more people than I do.
Okay.
Right, brother?
That's cool.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
That's cool.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Oh, dude, you have to pick out my worst one that makes people hate me? Really? It's interesting stuff, huh? Oh, okay. I won't put you on camera. I'm sorry. This is an interesting one. The Red Cross reports. Have you investigated this yourself or no? Two words. C-O-O-N. And then space. I'm dating him. Give me one. Your name? Bihan. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to try to remember that. Thank you. Bihan. So there you go. See, today was worth it, man. Every bit. Even though it's been hell. All right.
How you doing?
I've been taking a survey. Please raise your hand if you trust the government. You guys, if you do, you'll be number 7 today out of all. Yeah, man. Condemnation before investigation is the highest. There's a principle which will leave a man in everlasting ignorance. That principle is condemnation before investigation. Yeah. Condemning the evidence before you look into it They're gonna leave you ignorant, like myself. It will, man. Condemnation before investigation will leave you in everlasting ignorance. Anybody here feel the 1,000-mile-an-hour spin? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you trust the government. You could be number 7 today out of about 500. No? No takers? I got one guy who's awake. Look, by the way, people, there you go. Imagination is everything. It's a preview of life's coming attractions. Folks, they tell us we're spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Hold on, you guys feel that spin, right? It's almost as fast as a speeding bullet. So I busted out the Holocaust people. Ain't nobody gonna shut me up. Well, they will, obviously, at some point. Look at that, baby. HolocaustDeprogrammingCourse.com. And I got people looking at it. That's all we want. They're reading the evidence, jarring them awake. Raise your hand if you trust the government. You could be the 7th person today who raised their hand if you want. Oh,
I'm sorry.
You're killing me, really? You trust the government for real?
I'm sorry, man.
You do? I'm interested.
Dude.
You do trust the government?
I am a kid. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Oh, no, but yes you do. Just because you're a kid doesn't, of course you can think for yourself.
No.
So you honestly think that the government never lies?
I believe that I'm not old enough to formulate opinions yet.
Why would you think that, man? How old are you?
I'm only 16, dude.
16? Dude, I was working for freaking 2 years by the time I was 16.
Now, dude.
So if you're working, then you can handle freaking using your brains. You got a brain. Who told you that you're not old enough to formulate an opinion? What, are you kidding me? That's freaking shameful. Yeah. Don't think that way, man. You're freaking smart, dude. I know you are.
I have a question.
How you doing, bro?
All right, so why is the Earth flat? Why do you think that?
Oh my gosh, man, there's so much freaking evidence. It took a lot because obviously I believed I lived on a ball until I was age 46.
Until 46?
Yeah, which was like, a long time. I don't like saying that number. Water for me is the big thing. You see that bottle of water there? Yeah. If that was 2 miles in length and you were to use spherical geometry to determine the curvature over a distance of 2 miles.
What kind of?
Spherical?
Spherical?
Like, yeah, that determines sphere. Something, the math that tells you, defines what size of a sphere something will be.
Right.
It's 8 inches per mile squared, describes Earth 24,000 miles in circumference. That formula, so if you were to take that and imagine it was a 2 mile long pipe, okay? Over a distance of 2 miles, you would do 2 times 2 is 4, and you do 4 times 8 is 32 inches. So over a distance of 2 miles, there would be 32 inches of expected curvature, meaning that there would be a hump in that pipe in the middle, 16 inches freaking tall in resting water. That's what, that's what we have to believe. That's kind of hard to get your mind around because we know that water doesn't act that way. Resting bodies of water always seek and find their level. Isn't that true?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, what about all the major shipping industries like Maersk and the large container ships and cruise ships, all of the GPS coordinates that they use, all of their systems are programmed by engineers and physicists to act on a curvature. When they leave port here, they actually make a curve.
Right.
They leave port in New York, and then they end in Europe.
Let me ask you.
And the ships literally are engineered ships. They go like this.
Yeah.
The Earth is round.
So you've already determined?
Yeah. I know.
So,
I know that
so you're
it's
not
round.
interested in all right. So I will.
I'm interested in seeing your theory.
Right.
I'm not hating on you.
Okay,
I'm
no,
just
that's fine. I will give you this then as a thought. Dude, I'm the first person to say I am completely ignorant fool, and I still am ignorant of a million things. Because ignorant just means you don't know better, right?
Right.
So wait, I just want to give you.
How is a flat piece suspended in the atmosphere?
I need to break through to you.
Yeah.
All right. There is a great saying, and I love the saying when I first woke up to this thing. Yeah. Because when I first heard flat Earth, I was like, what kind of idiot would think the Earth is flat? That's what I said.
No, I never said no. I'm just trying to get your theory.
I'm worse than most people.
Yeah.
So So the saying is there is a principle which will leave a man in everlasting ignorance, and that principle is condemnation before investigation. Right? Now you're coming over here and you're saying, and by the way, I'm not like coming down on you. I'm just being like this is what my feeling is, and I think you might agree with me. I think you're coming over here. You know you're right. You know you live on a spinning ball, but you're really you're interested in hearing my craziness, or maybe more.
No. I never said craziness.
No, I used that in the wrong term.
You put craziness in
you're
my.
You're interested in hearing my evidence, right?
Yeah.
But really, in reality, I would say, my evidence, is going to be flawed.
I never said that either.
I'm assuming. I'm making.
No, you're making assumptions.
Because
I never said the word crazy. I never said you're ignorant. I said I want facts.
You're missing my point.
To see where you're coming in on it. I'm a friendly person.
Okay, no, I'm with you. No, you're doing great. I'm messing up and describing what I'm seeing.
No. Just don't put words in my mouth.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. All right, so let me ask you this though, like. When you come over, you're pretty much. Are you 99% sure you live on a ball, or are you 100%?
I'm 1,000%
okay,
sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get out.
But I want to see where.
But you're not going. But here's the thing. That's the point of me saying condemnation before investigation will leave a man in everlasting ignorance. Because here's the fact: if you're 100% on a ball, nothing I present to you in a million years can ever beat 100%, can it? Mm-hmm. Right? That's all I was trying to get at, man. I'm not putting it down for it or anything, like, or you can laugh at me. I don't mean it that way.
No, not at all. Not at all. Am I being rude or?
No,
laughing?
I know. I'm the one goofing up here. I'm messing up. I was trying to connect with you.
Yeah. I believe theories, but I know for a fact that we're on a sphere.
Yeah.
We're in a sphere. There would be no way possible the sun.
How much evidence have you done?
How much evidence?
No, I'm sorry, not evidence. How much investigation, right, have you done to challenge your current belief that you live on a ball? At this point, how much investigation?
A lot.
Oh, you have. Oh, you've looked into flat Earth. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so no, then I should have asked that question first. Sorry about that. I have all the respect in the world. If somebody comes up and they said they looked into flat Earth and that the evidence is not there for it, and that they did it, they put a lot of time and effort into it, then at that point, hey, fair enough, man. You know what I mean? I'm seeing things that I guess, or allowing evidence that other people won't.
All right, so you take water, or you take any liquid in space. When you're in space,
I've never been in space.
Okay, but if you go to space,
I'm never going. I'm probably not going to get there. I don't believe in space.
You don't believe in space at all.
No.
You don't believe in space and time.
I know of some. I know that today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, and yesterday was yesterday. But we call that time other than what we've described it. I couldn't really tell you what time is. You know what I mean? And as far as space goes, I'm pretty sure you haven't been to space, right? Yeah. So we have to. So what are you really doing? You're taking a secondhand account from NASA, right? Who earns $50 million a day, and really, for me, I don't feel like NASA has done anything to improve my own personal life. I can't list off a list of benefits that I've received from $50 million a freaking day.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is. I was going to ask people. I said $50 million a day for NASA, or feed or help 1 million homeless people. Which do you think would be more valuable towards society?
Well, no, I don't think it's a societal thing. It's just I think that. Natural physics law.
Check this out. While guys got everybody here.
Just off the fact of being in the industry of technology,
right?
When I see the actual technology of the GPS coordinates of large aircraft, large container ships, programmed. They are programmed.
Right.
I'm not being mean.
I hear you.
They are programmed by engineers, physicists.
I hear you. Okay, give me one moment, because I want to have my little show. Because people don't have a lot of time. But I'm not discounting what you say.
Yeah.
All right, so this is something now. I had a little awakening journey that I went on. Right. I'm going to start off with this. Do you guys trust the government? Would you say, raise your hand if you trust the government, or you think this government lies?
Depends on what it's about.
You're laughing. But generally speaking, we could probably agree that the government, they lie sometimes, right? Maybe not all the time, but you don't think that they lie ever? You don't think they've ever lied?
I don't know enough about that to say.
You don't know what is people's brains these days? Are you serious? Have you ever heard of Fast and Furious?
Yeah, the movie.
Right,
Yeah,
Fast and Furious, we got caught freaking selling guns
Okay,
to
yeah.
bad guys.
Okay, but dude,
Is that lying?
okay,
wait, hold on. You said you're not smart enough. You don't even need to be smart to
I didn't say I
understand
was
this. You
smart- I
gotta,
didn't say I was
you just
smart
gotta be
enough. I
able
said
to.
I'm not educated enough on the subject. I didn't say I
No,
wasn't
but you
smart.
are, man. Why is everybody, all these smart guys? You guys are smarter than I'll ever be, probably. You're in Princeton, probably, right? Or you're going to St. Joseph, whatever. You know, that's good. Good for you. You can think. Don't discount how intelligent you are, man. You're plenty smart.
I wasn't.
So, but you kind of were when you said I don't think I'm qualified to answer the question is whether government lies or not. Most people, when I ask if they raise their hand, if government lies, I put it on YouTube on a channel, Zoom Truth. Most people, when I ask that question, they laugh. They fucking laugh. Why? Why do they laugh? Because everybody knows the government is a bunch of thieves. They're a bunch of scumbags. That's the world we live in, okay?
Yeah.
But you can't be afraid to say it, man.
I'm just curious. Why?
There
would
are
the
keepers.
government- Why would the government lie about the Earth being flat?
Yeah, oh man, dude, all right. You're so far, all right. I don't even want to get into why, because I lose people, and I'd rather give you a little bit of evidence to ponder, and you got to do your own investigation. Have either of you guys ever really looked into flat Earth at all, or not?
Yeah.
You have? Oh, cool.
yeah.
So, you know, for me, water lying flat, resting bodies of water always seek and find their level.